It's that time of the year again. Cold snow if you're in Michigan, dropping down harder than your grandpa at a party because, you know, death is imminent. Anyway, guys, the new year has come and the old year has gone. So, we are going to talk about the best films of this year. Now, of course, I have a little bit of biases. I like superhero movies and I like action movies a lot. And there was a lot of ones this year because that's what makes money. And of course, due to the pandemic, the Grammys and stuff were delayed. So a lot of movies that I totally forgot were in 2021, I just kind of lumped into the 2020 category. So amazing films like Judas and the Black Messiah and Little Things, I kind of just lumped those over to 2020 even though they came out in 2021. I know. So you're gonna see mainly movies from kind of the fall, a little bit of the summer, and a little before the summer, a little like a smidge, like a inch before the summer, and the movies that have come out since. Um, Mainly just because those are the ones that are fresh in my head right now when I was making this list, and I just made this list off of movies that I had like a need to see. I didn't have many honorable mentions. I liked Reminiscence. I liked Outside the Wire, but one that I thought was amazing was No Sudden Move. That's just a perfect film for me. It takes place in Detroit. It's a heist movie. It has a big cast. Loved it. I had some problems with it. It was a little slow, so that's why it didn't make the list. Now, number 10 is one that you're probably not expecting. It's The Harder They Fall. It's a western, and it's the first ever black western, and I really liked it. I really liked it. It had a really cool stylistic approach, a lot like Quentin Tarantino. Everybody knows I'm not a big Quentin Tarantino fan, but I think with western, that style of brutality really does work well. So I didn't hate this. I thought it was actually honestly pretty dope. I thought it was pretty cool, and especially because it is the first ever black western, I want to give it a little more love and attention than any other the westerns that came out this year. Like News to the World, didn't love that one. Didn't love it. And it had one of my favorite actors of this year, Jonathan Majors. He starred in Lovecraft Country, which was my favorite show. Um, well, I get, did that come out in 2020? Did it? I think it did. Anyway, I watched it in 2021. It's my favorite show of 2021 that I watched. He was great in Loki, and he did great in this. He is kind of shaping up to be a good wide-ranged actor, playing an alien and then playing Western guys hard. Number 9, Nobody. This was a movie kind of made for me. I love John Wick. I think the John Wick franchise is fantastic. I love that style of action, and I'm a sucker for a good action movie. And I love Bob Odenkirk. I have two shirts with Bob Odenkirk's face on it. So I think that just proves how much I like him. I really like him. I think he's a great actor. So I really enjoyed seeing him being a leading man in a movie that I didn't expect he would be a leading man in. It was really stylistic. They did a lot of cool things with the music and with RZA. RZA was awesome in it. It was just also fun. It was also fun. I watched it and I was like, shit, bro, that's fucking cool. And that's what matters most to me. When watching the movie, and I think Bob Odenkirk did a great job. I think the intro to it was fantastic with the whole Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday thing. That was fantastic. Loved it. Number 8, Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is mainly because I had a big I need to see it factor. I got home that day. I got home and it was like, I don't know, 4 or something. Turned it on. And I finished it at 9. It's a 4-hour epic, and of course it's going to be high on a list because it is a 4-hour epic. It has so much time to develop its stories and develop characters, and it had so many characters. And almost everybody had an arc in it. Everybody had a real, a rebirth with Superman. Everybody had a great start with Cyborg. Yeah, I just really liked it, and it was also something that I've been wanting to see for years. So yeah, but there was a better superhero movie, The Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad was stylistic and also really unique, and I just liked that it was basically a Vietnam War film. It was a war film, You know, it didn't waste its time acting like it was, oh cool, we're the Suicide Squad, let's be, like Guardians of the Galaxy. And I was really worried that it would seem a lot like the first Suicide Squad. That because they finally had James Gunn, they would tell him, do what you did with Guardians of the Galaxy, and we wouldn't get a Suicide Squad. I really liked it. I thought that a lot of the characters were cool in it. I liked that it kind of didn't care about a lot of the characters. There's a lot of death in it. There's a lot of funny moments between characters like Peacemaker and Bloodsport, and I just really enjoyed it. It was also a fun movie, and it was one that I did watch several times in that weekend it came out. Number 6, No Time to Die. This has just a bunch of personal meaning to me. As it is, I love this film. I love James Bond, and I saw this with my dad right after we got the sad news that my uncle had passed away. And, I needed something to just pick me up and make me laugh a little bit, and also, have a little action and just something to take my mind off for 2 hours. And I remember my dad coming out of it, and he was like, "That's might be the best James Bond film yet." And I went, "No, it's not, but I am willing to put it up high on a list that doesn't matter." This list doesn't matter. You know it. I know it. But having it was very important to me. It was very important to me. Reminds me of my uncle every time I see it, and it was also a really good send off for Bond. Number 5 is an actual great film on its own. I wish it wasn't tied to the previous Candyman movie, because this Candyman was fantastic. The first Candyman is my favorite horror movie, and you can understand why. It's pretty deep. It's really weirdly has some cool religious undertones. Also has a lot of forced tones, such as race and segregation, which was really, really, really good at its time. And then it also has a really cool kind of subtone of this weird, like, dream feeling kind of craziness. It has some crazy layers to it, and I was worried that this one wouldn't be. I was very skeptical, and it blew me out of the water. It had a great tone about race, and it didn't dumb things down. Number 4, Tick Tick Boom. It is. I love musicals. I love acting, and I love the story of Jonathan Larson. So it was really, really cool to see it in a really nice movie way. I didn't really. I was not super excited for it because it was Lin Manuel Miranda. I'm not a huge fan of his. I did not love Hamilton, and I haven't loved some of the stuff that he's done, but I thought this was great. Number 3, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Okay, you definitely saw this coming because Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire is my favorite film of all time. Just my personal favorite. It's not the best, but it's my favorite. I have it on DVD, VHS, novelization. So them bringing back my favorite villain from my favorite Spider-Man movie and doing it in a really good way was also great. This was a really nice movie. It had a lot of character arcs, even though there was a lot of characters. It didn't feel dumbed down or muddled or anything. It was. I loved it. I loved this movie for a lot of reasons, and I think honestly, if you haven't seen it, I bet that you have because it's me. I don't want to spoil it, but it's just great. It's great. It's great. Number 2 and number 1 could be switched, but number 2 is King Richard. I love Will Smith. I have more respect for him than any other actor ever in the history of industry. And so seeing him play this really raw, powerful role that I already kind of knew about the story of King Richard and Serena and Venus Williams. So I was kind of already in the loop about it. But wow, did it blow me away. It really, I don't know, there were such great scenes in it that I still can't um get out of my head, There was just some great scenes, some great emotions, great acting from Will. Maybe his best performance yet. I don't know though. I gotta watch Pursuit of Happiness again, but if I watch it, I'm just gonna be crying for an hour. So we'll say right now it's his best. Number one is Pig. Pig was my favorite movie of the year. And I'm totally fine with saying that. As it is, yes, it is Nicolas Cage. Yes, it is. Um, it has a weird, wacky premise, but when you actually see it, when you actually watch it alone in a theater by yourself, you just get connected to the story, and great. It portrayed emotion in such a great way, and I loved it. I loved it, and I really, really, I think it was a beautiful film, and I'm so glad it came out. It's beautiful. It's really a work of art. You haven't seen it, you should see it. You should see it. No doubt about that. So that wraps up my list. Yes, there's a lot of better movies. Sorry, Minari was amazing. But I didn't put it on the list because I totally forgot about it coming out this year. So just know that there was better films than these. These are just my favorite somewhat.